is only one perfect solution, but there are clues that will try to trick our team.
Hello there, everyone. My name is Crazy Caleb, and today we're going to be learning the boardwalk today. And this is what it looks like. So this looks like a Monopoly board because that's what it is. It's the game version on like console, I believe, or like computer. But this is Monopoly, and this is all based off of Monopoly, as you would suspect. So the way the module looks, we have a token on the top here. That is one of the several pieces here from the original game: thimble, wheelbarrow, cat, dog, car, iron, hat, and battleship. And this is going to be the series of conditions that we'll be using on for this module here. So this is a boss module, and what's going to happen is after each solve here, we're going to be progressing through a series of stages here. So after every solve, we'll get a new stage, and we're going to be moving based off of the dice roll that we get here. So for those of you who do know the rules of Monopoly and how it works, this is going to be pretty straightforward for you, and it's actually going to be a lot of just understanding how Monopoly works. But for those of you who don't know, what you're going to be doing is you're going to start on go, and normally you'd be playing this with other people, but essentially what's going to happen is going to be you start off with no money. In this case, you're going to start off with no money, but normally you'd start off with, I think, like $1,000 or some sort of money. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't played Monopoly in a while. And essentially, what you're going to do is you're going to start on go, and you're going to be moving a series of movements based off of this table here. And if you happen to look at the actual Monopoly board game, if we happen to take a look at an image here, we can see here that we start at go, and then it goes through the brown squares, then it goes through the sort of sky blue, then violet. And if you take a look here, brown, light blue, magenta, magenta. And what essentially this is just a recreation of the actual board. It's just formed in a list. So we're going to be moving down the table, and once we reach the bottom, we simply loop back around because we're always moving clockwise around the table. So that's how this is going to work. And as you land on properties, you will be paying a base value when you first land on it, and then the second time when you land on it, you're going to be paying the value of a house, then the third time it being 2 houses, and so on and so forth. That's the way that this is going to work. Now, one thing that's important to note, when you do land on houses, and you happen to land on them more than once, you're not paying a collective sum of everything you've landed on beforehand. You're only paying the highest one that you've reached so far. So you'd pay $2 for Mediterranean Avenue first, and then the second time that you reach around it, you wouldn't be paying $12. You'd be paying $10. That's the way that this works. Now, there are also different types of community chests or chance cards that you can get, which are going to be represented with this little bottom display here. The community chest will always be down, and you're going to be using that, using the switch to go back and forth between these guys. And once you're done using that card, you're simply going to press the display. The display will always start on green for both states. That'll mean that this is your first card, essentially, and that's what we're going to be doing here. Community chest doesn't necessarily mean it's good. You're going to get something good from it. Chance doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get something good from it. So both of these guys can either put you in jail or give you money or take money away from you. So that's the way that this works. There's also a couple other things that we have to pay attention to. It's reading, for example, the different types of railroads. There's going to be 4 railroads on each of the central parts of the map. We have the first one being Reading Railroad, we have Pennsylvania Railroad, we have B&O Railroad, and we have Short Line. And each of these guys, we'll simply be paying $25 for this railroad to start off with, but we will double the amount for each additional unique railroad you have landed on. So what this means is that if for example, we've landed on Short Line once, we pay the $25 for that railroad, then we happen to go back up here, and we happen to land on Reading Railroad. We're going to always pay $25. However, we've been to 2 railroads, so what this means is that this counts as an additional unique railroad that we've landed on, being Short Line and Reading Railroad. That means we're simply going to be paying double, which 25 doubled is going to be 50. And likewise, so on and so forth. 50 would double to 100, and then 100 would double to 200. The maximum amount that you pay is 200 for all 4 railroads, even though that is a very rare case for that to actually happen. Now, that's the railroads covered. Next up, we have the biggest one being the next 2 ones. They're actually kind of much rarer than the railroads. We have Waterworks and Electrical Company. Now, these guys, what these guys do is these pay attention to the actual roll that you got when you land on it. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be paying the amount that you're going to be paying the amount by specific times by your dice roll. So if you happen to land on both Electrical Company and Waterworks, you're going to be paying 10 times your dice roll. Otherwise, you're simply going to be paying 4 times your dice roll. It's the exact same thing for Waterworks. It's just you have to land on both of them to get the 10 times. So, for example, if I landed on here, if we happen to land just on Electrical Company, we'd be paying 4 times our dice roll. 3 plus 3 is going to be 6. 6 times 4 will give us 24. We would be paying $24. So, and then the last one that I want to go, last two that I want to go over is luxury tax and income tax. These guys simply want you to just pay some sort of value. For example, income tax wants you to pay $200, and luxury tax wants you to pay $100. And I guess the last thing I want to go over is go. So you always will start on go. The way that this game works, you'll always start on go, and you'll always keep going around and round and round. And every time you pass or land on go, you will receive $200 upon landing on or passing the space. That's just the way that that works. So now that I've explained to you everything about this module, you are playing this by yourself, like a lonely man you are, or woman, whatever. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be actually, what is our goal here? Our goal here is to input the total amount of money you've paid at the end of this boss. So this is calculated by taking the total amount of money you've paid. Now this is where things get a little bit interesting. What our goal is, we're to determine the total amount of money you've lost, not gained. So what that includes is going to be the amount of money you've paid to properties, railroads, utilities, luxury tax, income tax, community chest cards, and chance cards, minus the amount of money you've received from passing the go, community chest, and chance cards. So that's the way that this works. So next up, a couple other things that I need to do before we get into this module. Now, there is the one thing of jail that I have to explain. So there is 2 possibilities of how you can actually get to jail. Actually, 3. You can either get them from a chance or community chest card. You can land on go to jail, or you can happen to roll doubles 3 stages in a row. You will be sent to jail. Those are the 3 ways of which you can actually get to jail. Now, what exactly happens when you're in jail? Whenever you are sent to jail, you must press the jail button, which in this case is represented by the token display up here. It means you're sent to jail. Of course, I can't do that now because we obviously wouldn't be able to reach jail right now. So, and you will remain in jail for the next 3 stages. So, for example, if I went to jail for some reason on stage 5, so I got in jail on stage 5. Now, I will remain in jail for the next 3 stages. So that means we're going to remain in jail in 6, 7, and 8. That means we don't do anything. And then once we get to stage 9, then we're free. And then we can move again. So that's the way that the jail works. Just keep that in mind. Between the time when you're in jail, you do not pay attention to the dice rolls at all. It's actually quite a nice thing for you because you don't have to pay anything, but you don't have to pay attention to those stages. It makes your life a lot simpler. However, it is important to note that you have to click the dice roll display instead of just keeping track that you were sent to jail, because if you do not press the jail button when you're instructed to, and if you progress to the next stage of the module, it will strike you, and you will be sent to jail anyways. So just keep that in mind. Don't try and outrun the law, guys. It's not worth it. So let's actually get into this module, and let's actually take a look at this. So the first thing that you want to do is to recognize what piece you actually have on the module here. So this is going to be a dog. The dog here is going to be condition of always move a number of spaces equal to the dice roll plus 1. This is probably the biggest rule of them all. A lot of these guys are pretty straightforward. Receives $100 for landing on just visiting or free parking, pretty straightforward. Receives an extra $50 from go. Always pays the minimum $25 for railroad spaces, pretty straightforward. Pay a $100 fine every time it is sent to jail for any reason. And then these 2 is exempt from paying utility spaces. So you're just simply going to pay nothing if you happen to land on the electrical company and Waterworks. Those guys you just simply do not have to pay. And is exempt from luxury tax and income tax. You're simply just going to not pay anything. And finally, battleship, there is no special condition. That's just the way, it's just your normal piece. Everything that happens to you is pretty straightforward. But for dog, this is actually a pretty interesting case because we actually are going to be moving the dice roll plus 1. So we're going to start on go, and taking a look at our roll, we actually do have doubles here. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write down double. I'm just going to mark that as 1. That's occurred once. And remember, it has to be 3 times in a row in order to go to jail. So we're going to be moving 6 spaces plus 1, which is going to be a 7. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's going to take us to a chance card. The chance card will be displayed when the switch is up. So we're going to be getting a speeding fine, which is going to be $15. So this means we're going to simply be paying $15, and we're going to be adding this to the amount that we've paid, because we're paying $15, and now we're going to use the cards as they appear and press in the screen to progress to the next card when appropriate. So we progress to the next card, and just like that, we move on to the next stage. So, one thing that is important that you have to keep track of is actually keep track of your highlights, because if you're using highlights like me, it's going to be very important once you land on property to keep track of what properties you've been to, because that's going to affect each of your prices. So let's get back into this model. So doubles have been canceled out, so we're not going to be worrying about that right now. And I'm actually going to pop up my handy dandy calculator for this. So calculator. 3 plus 1 is going to be 4. 4 plus 1 is going to be 5. That's going to be moving 5 spaces. So we're going to be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To electrical company. Okay. So we've gone to electrical company. I'm going to keep that marked down. So we have not landed on Waterworks yet, so we're not going to be paying 10 times the amount of dice roll. Otherwise, we're simply going to be paying 4 times the dice roll. So, taking a look here. Now, keep in mind that this is simply, the dice roll is simply indicated by these guys on the module. It's not indicated by this +1 from the dog, so just keep that in mind. And what this is it's going to be 4 times 4. It's not going to be 5 times 4 giving us 20, it's going to be 4 times 4. So, we're going to do, we're going to add 15. We're going to add 15 to our total right now, because it's a positive, because that's the amount we paid. And we're simply going to add 4 times 4, which is 16. And we're currently at 31. Let's mark this down right here. And let's move on to the next stage. So let's keep in mind that we've landed on an electrical company, and if we haven't landed on Waterworks, it's going to be paying 10 times our dice roll. Alright, next up, we're going to be moving 8 spaces, because 7 plus 1 plus 1 is going to be 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is going to be us landing us on free parking. Now, we don't have the thimble, which we would receive $100 for landing on just visiting or free parking. So in this case, nothing's going to happen. Simple as that. Next up, we're going to be moving 3 and 5 is going to be 8. 8 plus 1 is going to be 9, so we're going to be moving 9 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So now we're landing on Marvin Gardens. We're going to be paying the base value for the first one here. And we're going to be paying $24. So let's add $24 to our total here, plus 24 is going to be 55. Right. And that's going to be the first time we've landed on that. I'm going to keep track of that. And we're going to, if we happen to land on Marvin Gardens again, which I'm doubtful of it because it's not common for an 11 module bomb to get that far. But if we happen to land on Marvin Gardens again, we simply move one over to the right and we pay $120, not 24. Next up, 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 1 is going to be an 8. So we're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to Park Place, so close to the boardwalk. And we're going to be paying $35 for this property. We're going to be adding 35 because we're paying it. So plus 35 is going to be 90. That's how much we're at right now. Alright, moving on. So we have 5 and 3. 5 and 3 is going to be 8. Plus 1 is going to give us 9. Now we're going to move 1 and 2 back up to the top. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to Oriental Avenue. Now, we have passed go, so what this means is now we're going to be receiving $200, so we're going to subtract 200, so minus 200. Going to give us negative 110. And now, we're going to be paying $6 because this is the first time we're landing on Oriental here. And now we're going to be adding $6 because we're paying it. It's going to give us negative 104. Now, note that we're going to be paying attention to the negatives for the longest time until we actually get to the end of the module, in which case we're going to input the absolute value, modulo 100,000, and we're going to press the jail button. So we're going to keep everything in the negative so far, but we're going to simply just, we're going to input the absolute value later on, so just keep that in mind. Alright, moving on. Alright, from Oriental Avenue, 5 plus 3 is 8, plus 1 is going to be 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now we're landing on Pennsylvania Railroad. This is the first time we've landed on a railroad, so we're going to be simply paying $25 for this railroad. We have not landed on any other unique railroads, so we're simply going to be paying $25. This is going to be adding 25 as we're paying. It's going to be negative 79. Alright, next stage. We have a 4 plus 1 is going to give us a 5, plus 1 is going to give us a 6 because of the dog. So we're going to be moving, keep that marked down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to Kentucky Avenue. That's going to give us $18. So we're going to be paying $18 for this property. So adding 18 please, is going to be negative 61. All right. And finally, for the last few stages here, from Kentucky Avenue, we're going to be moving. Oh, hello, double. We're going to be moving 4, and 4 is going to be 8, plus 1 is going to be 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we're going to go to jail. So we're going to go to jail, and we're going to go directly to jail. Note that if we happen to land on this space, the jail is actually backwards, and this is why it says jail / just visiting. But how do I describe this? So if we happen to get a card, for example, that happens to want us to go to a specific spot, normally we would simply just go down and around clockwise. For example, if we happen to be on Boardwalk, for example, and we wanted to go to a Park Place, or if we wanted to go Park Place, yeah, for example, what we would simply do is we would go clockwise all the way around, and we would simply do a Park Place. That's the way that would work. We would also pass go in the meantime too, so that means that we would simply go clockwise. That's the way that it wants you to go for this. However, since we've landed on go to jail right here, if we were to continue clockwise, we would pass go, and we would simply land in jail. However, it specifically says do not pass go and do not collect $200. So that's where this comes in. So just keep that in mind. So now we're going to go to jail. We're going to go up to here. We're going to be in jail for just visiting. So now we're going to go to jail in stage 9. And normally, if this was for example, a bigger bomb, we would stay in jail for 10, 11, and 12, and we'd be out at 13. 13 would be 3 of them. So now, what we're going to do is, since we've landed in jail, we're going to press the token display here. And just like that, we didn't receive a strike for it, because that would be wrongly accusing us from going to jail, and we would simply be good to go. So now, since this is actually the end of the bomb, what we can do is we can simply solve these two freely, because we would, for example, solve this. We don't pay attention to the actual dice rolls at all. We do not care. So we're simply going to stay in jail in 10, and normally this would be stage 11. However, now we're entered into submission phase. So now that everything's been said and done, we're simply going to input the absolute value modulo 10,000, and we're going to press the jail button to solve the module. So absolute value is going to be just 61 bucks. So the way how this works is essentially what you're going to do is you're going to click at the display to type in a number to the rightmost here. For example, it increases, and if you happen to go over 9, it just simply turns it back to 0. And the way that the switch works is you can, for example, have the 3 here, and you can simply just move the digits over to the left. Now, of course, if you want to clear your submission, you can just flip the switch as many times as you need to, and it's perfectly fine like that. So let's input 6 first, and then let's input 1. Let's press the token display, and just like that is a solved module. And that's Boardwalk right there. So I'm going to do a bigger example. I'm going to do a 23 module size bomb, and hopefully we can get some better cases here. I want to start landing on different properties, as well as some other chances, some waterworks. We did actually get quite a good variety of options here. We got a railroad, we got a waterworks, or actually we got electrical company rather. We got some properties, but I want to show you how the different types of properties works, because you have houses, and you have houses, and you have houses, and you've got a hotel all at the end of this. Now, there is one thing I did forget to mention here. If you happen to land on every property in a color set, all future rent payments on any properties in the set will be doubled. So, for example, if we happen to get both Mediterranean Avenue and Baltic Avenue, for example, since these two are both part of a color set, if we happen to land on Mediterranean first, and then we happen to land on Baltic, we happen to land on both of their bases, at least, their basic value. What's going to happen is we happen to land on Baltic second. We're simply going to pay $4 for this time around, but everything else from this point on will be doubled. So, for example, if we land on Mediterranean again, this is not going to be 10, this is going to be 20. However, remember it says all future payments. So if we happen to land on the last color set, the last color of a color set, that value is not doubled. It's just simply its normal price. However, all future payments are going to be doubled. So that's just the way to keep that in mind. And another thing to note, normally the game requires you to have all of the color sets actually created until you can start placing houses on here, and then a hotel later on. However, in this game, in this module here, if we happen to just land on it again, that's just simply creating a house. So you don't need the color set in order to build a house. Normally in the Monopoly game, I believe you simply need the color set. So let's increase our module count to 22, and let's see if I can get this thing done. 22. Let me make sure I'm also recording as well, because I had an issue with it last time, which I'd rather not talk about. And this is why I'm simply re-uploading this tutorial. So let's take a look and let's see what we get. So, where is it? So we get the top hat. So the hat is going to be exempt from luxury tax and income tax. So we're simply going to just be paying nothing. This is actually a really simple rule, and this is actually rather quite nice for us. So we simply just don't need to worry about paying 200 bucks here and paying 100 bucks down at the bottom. They're very close to each other, and it's just a very small rule. So let's do this. So we start off with doubles. So let's immediately note that down. So we do a double, and then I'll mark that with a 1. That's going to be a 6 and 6, which is going to be 12. Starting from go with nothing, so we're going to mark this a 0. I'm going to pick my calculator too, because I believe it's still here. Yep. So start with 0. We're going to move 12 spaces. So we're going to be moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to electrical company. So this is actually a rather quite big roll. We haven't landed on Waterworks yet, so we're going to be paying 4 times our dice roll. So we're going to be doing a 12, which was what we landed on, 12, which was how much we rolled, times this by 4, which is going to give us 48, and that is what we're going to start off with. So we're paying 48 bucks, and just like that, the electrical company is taken care of. So next stage, doubles have been canceled out. There's no consecutive double after that, so that's good to go. Next up from electrical company, we're going to be moving 7 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to New York Avenue. So we're going to be paying 16 bucks here. Adding 16, which is going to give us a 64. All right, moving on. Doubles here. We have a potential double here, so that's going to be a 1. So now from New York Avenue, we're going to be moving 6 spaces. So we're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to B&O Railroad. We're going to be simply paying 25 bucks because this is the first railroad that we've landed on. We're going to be paying 25, which is going to be 89. All right, next up. Doubles have been canceled out once again, so we're going to go. So next up, we're going to be moving 4 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4 to Marvin Gardens. We're going to be paying 24 bucks. This is the first time we landed on it, so paying 24, which is going to give us a 113. We're doing pretty good so far. Make that money, watch it burn. Next up, doubles have been canceled out. We don't have to worry about that. We're going to be moving from Marvin Gardens. We're going to be moving 7 spaces. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to a chance card. Okay. So chance cards will always be displayed when the switch is up. So let's see what that is. Chance card, the first one that wants us to do. The first one wants us to go back 3 spaces. So we're going to go back 1, 2, and 3, ironically enough, to a community chest. So we're going to be moving, going back 3 spaces. We're going to move, progress to the next card, and we're going to be flipping the switch down. From sale of stock, you get $200. So we're gaining $200. So we're going to be simply subtracting $200 from our current amount. So we're going to subtract 200, which is going to give us a negative 87. So next up, we're going to progress to the next card, and we're simply just leave that alone for now. So now from community chest, we're going to be moving 10 spaces. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to the top. 7, 8, 9, 10 to Baltic Avenue. We're going to be paying 4 bucks plus 4. And now we're actually going to be, because we passed go, we're going to be receiving $200. We're going to subtract 200, which is going to give us negative 283. 3. All right, from Baltic Avenue, we're going to move on here. And we're going to do a 4, and it's going to be a 10. So from Baltic Avenue, we're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to States Avenue, which is going to be 10 bucks. So we're paying 10 bucks here. So plus 10, giving us negative 273. Then next up, we're going to be moving 10 spaces again, go figure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to Indiana here. So it's going to be 18, so paying 18 here is going to give us negative 255. All right. From Indiana, we're going to be moving 8 spaces. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to Pacific, so close to jail, which is going to be us paying 26. So plus $26, because we're paying it, is going to be negative 229. All right. Let's continue on. 6 spaces. So we're going to be moving from Pacific Avenue 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to Park Place. That's going to be us paying $35. So plus 35, gaining a lot of properties here, so 194. So negative 194. Now, doubles here, so we have a double here, so let's mark this down as double 1. And we're going to be moving 8 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to Reading Railroad. Now, we have landed on a B&O railroad, so for each unique railroad, we're going to double this amount. Normally, we'd be paying $25 here. However, we're going to be doubling this amount, so that's going to be $50. So we're paying $50 to this railroad here. So we're going to be adding $50 to negative 114. However, we've passed to go, so we're going to be gaining $200, so minus 200. So it's going to be negative 344. That's going to be the end of that stage. Next up, doubles have been canceled out, so we don't have to worry about that. It's all good. We're going to be moving 7 spaces from Reading Railroad. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to Electrical Company. Now, we have not landed on Waterworks, so this is simply just going to be us landing on Electrical Company again. So we're going to be paying 4 times the dice roll. So we landed on this. 7 times 4 is simply 28, so we're going to be paying $28 to the Electrical Company. 316, and then we're going to move on. From Electrical Company over to 3 spaces. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, picking up another railroad. So this is going to be the 3rd railroad that we've acquired. We've acquired Reading, Pennsylvania, and B&O. So we're going to be paying, we'd be paying 25, double that, 50, double that again, $100. We're going to be paying $100. Quite a fair bit, if I do say so myself. So that's going to be negative 216. Slowly getting our way out of the negatives, but again, keeps putting us down. So from Pennsylvania, we're going to be moving 8 spaces. So we're going to be moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to Indiana Avenue. Now, here we go. We've landed on a second property, on a property twice again. So now, instead of paying 18, we're going to be paying 90. Note that it's not a collective of 18 and 90 together. It's simply just 90. We're going to build our first house here, and we're going to be paying $90. It's going to be negative 126. So 126. And just like that, we are done for that stage. From Indiana Avenue, we're going to be moving 8 spaces. So 8 spaces is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, barely getting out of go to jail. And we're going to be paying $130 for this time. Quite a bit, because this is the second time we landed on Pacific Avenue. So 130. We are out of the negatives for a brief moment. That's going to give us a $4. So let's continue on. Oh, doubles here. So we have doubles, and we're going to be moving a series of 12 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 up to go. 10, 11, 12 to Baltic Avenue. We're going to be paying $20 here. So plus the 20. However, minus the 200 because we passed go, so we're going to be minusing 200, giving us negative 176. This is double number 1, and we're going to move on to the next stage. Double number 2, hello. And we're going to be moving 2 spaces from Baltic Avenue, so 1, 2 to Reading Railroad. Now, we've landed on 3 unique railroads, so what this means is that we're simply going to be paying $100 again. So we're going to add 100, which is going to give us 76. Negative 76, rather. All right, and now, let's see what we get. We do not get a 3rd double, so we're good to go. So we're going to be moving 7 spaces from Reading Railroad, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to Electrical Company once again. However, we have still not landed on Waterworks, so we're only going to be paying 4 times our dice roll. Our dice roll in this case was a 7, so 7 times 4 is going to be a 28. Because 7, 14, 21, and 28, so we're going to be paying $28, and that's going to give us a negative 48. Continuing on, let's move on. from Electrical Company, we're going to be moving 3 spaces, so 1, 2, 3 to Pennsylvania again, and we're going to be paying $100 again because we haven't landed on all 4 railroads, so we're going to be doubling the 25 twice because we've landed on 3 of them, 25, 50, 100, and that's what we're going to be paying. So we're going to be paying $100, which is going to give us 52. We're in the positives now, for the moment. So from Pennsylvania wants us to move 7 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to a chance card. A chance card is going to be when the switch is up. Advance to the nearest utility. The nearest utility is Waterworks. So we're going to do that. We're going to click the display. And now, since we've advanced to Waterworks, we're going to simply process this roll here. So if we have landed on Electrical Company, which we have several times, mind you, we're going to pay 10 times your dice roll. So we've rolled currently a 7. 7 times 10 is going to be a 70. 52 plus 70 is going to be 122. All right. Moving on, we're going to do a 4 spaces here. So we've landed on Waterworks, and then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 to North Carolina. First time landing on this. We don't have the color set quite yet. We're very close though. However, I don't believe we're going to get it. So we're going to be moving. So we're going to be paying $26 to this. So plus 26 is going to be 148. And moving on to our next stage, and this is our final stage, mind you. And we're going to be moving 5 times. So from North Carolina, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So close to the boardwalk, but we're landing on Park Place again, which is going to be $175. We're going to be paying. So plus 175, excuse me, is going to be 3, 2, and 3. Now after this module will solve, this last one here, we should enter into submission phase, and just like that we have. So now we're an absolute value this modulo 100,000, and just like that we're going to submit into the module 3, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Once we're happy with our answer, we're going to hit the token display up here, and just like that, my friends, is a solved module. As always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And Happy New Year, by the way. It's been quite a touching adventure so far. This is my 300th tutorial, and it's a blast to make these things with you guys. And it feels good to know that you guys actually do watch this stuff. So thank you guys for that. And without further ado, I say once again, stay crazy, stay cool, and learn the boardwalk today. Learn the boardwalk today. Learn the boardwalk today. Learn the boardwalk.